Looking back, notable shooting attacks on U.S. houses of worship. The Associated Press. Law enforcement at the Burnett Chapel Church of Christ on September 24, 2017, in Antioch, Tennessee. One person was killed and 7 were wounded when a gunman opened fire in the church. Joe Buglewick/Getty Images. At least 2 people are dead and 8 others are wounded after authorities say a gunman opened fire during Sunday services at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan. Today's shooting was the latest of many shootings carried out at houses of worship in the United States over the past 10 years. Here's a list of some of the most notable attacks. August 2025, 2 children were killed and several others were injured in a mid-mass shooting at the Church of the Annunciation in Minneapolis, Minnesota. The shooter was a former student at the parish's school. June 2022, a gunman opened fire at a potluck dinner at St. Stephen's Episcopal Church in Vestavia Hills, Alabama, killing 3 people. The shooter was taken down after another diner struck him with a folding chair and held him until the police arrived. October 2018, 11 Jews attending services at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, were fatally shot by a white supremacist with a history of anti-Semitism. November 2017, a family feud is believed to have prompted the deadliest mass shooting in modern Texas history. 25 people, including a pregnant woman, were killed at First Baptist Church in Sutherland Springs, Texas. September 2017, a gunman opened fire at Burnett Chapel Church of Christ in Nashville, Tennessee, killing 1 person and injuring several others. The shooter, who previously attended the church, was sentenced to life without parole in 2019. June 2015, a young man walked into a Bible study session at the historic
This shit is like seriously crazy, Jack.
Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston, South Carolina, killing 9 people. The shooter, an avowed white supremacist, is awaiting execution following his conviction on multiple federal charges. 3 hours 26 minutes ago. What we know about Michigan church attack suspect Thomas Sanford. From CNN's Yaya Abu-Ghazala, Allison Gordon, and Zoe Sotilli. Thomas Jacob Sanford, the suspect in Sunday morning's mass shooting at a Michigan church, was an Iraq War veteran and outdoorsman, according to military records and social media posts. Police say Sanford, 40, of Burton, Michigan, killed 2 and injured at least 8 others while opening fire on congregants of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township. Sanford, who also allegedly set fire to the church, was killed in an exchange of gunfire with police, authorities said. Authorities have provided no motive for the attack. A Marine Corps spokesperson told CNN that Sanford served as a sergeant and received several medals for his service, which lasted from 2004 to 2008. He was deployed during Operation Iraqi Freedom for several months starting in the summer of 2007. Sanford graduated from Goodrich High School in 2004 and was recognized among other veteran alumni, according to an archived page from the school's website. A local news profile of Sanford from 2007 said he was deployed with the U.S. Marine Corps to Japan before preparing to head for service in Iraq. Social media accounts linked to Sanford's family show he was married with at least 1 child, a young son. According to a GoFundMe page from 2015, the family was in need of donations to help pay for the medical care of Sanford's son, who was born with a rare genetic disorder. The newborn was diagnosed with a condition.
So he was subject to take money to do some crazy shit.
Condition called congenital hyperinsulinism, which required a lengthy hospital stay and several surgeries to remove portions of the pancreas, according to a family Facebook page documenting the difficult journey. The child's medical condition took a financial toll on the family, with one local news article reporting Sanford took leave from his work as a truck driver for Coca-Cola to be with his son. "Don't ever take having healthy kids for granted," Sanford is quoted as saying in another article. "We are proud of our child.
So they fluffing the shooter. They is fluffing the shooter.
I spent 4 years in the Marine Corps and was in Iraq, and this is still the most unique thing to deal with." Other posts on Sanford's mother's Facebook page show that Sanford was a hunter, posing with deer and other game. 4 hours 40 minutes ago. Exhaustive investigation underway to identify a motive, source says. From CNN's Josh Campbell. Authorities investigating 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford, the man who police say carried out today's deadly attack, are still working to identify a possible motive, a law enforcement source familiar with the investigation tells CNN. Investigators are conducting a physical search of his suspected residence, and authorities are also working to obtain search warrants for digital media that may help shed light on his motive, the source said. The exhaustive investigation now involves dozens of law enforcement personnel across the state of Michigan, according to the source. Although authorities say Sanford was killed in a shootout with police and there will be no prosecution, identifying a possible motive remains a central focus, the source said. Investigators will be working through the night. 4 hours 49 minutes ago. In photos, today's attack on an LDS church in Michigan. From CNN's digital photo team. The chaos that began today with a gunman ramming his car.
Like, he really blew that shit up. He really blew that shit up. And started like, this shit is crazy.
Car into a place of worship in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, ended with a huge blaze at the church and embraces between shocked and grieving community members. These are some of the images that have emerged since the attack on congregants at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. In this image taken from video released by Julie J. at Malkowski 6 April, massive evidence technicians are now inside the church, law enforcement source says. From CNN's Josh Campbell. Evidence technicians are inside the Church of Jesus Christ of the Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, and are processing the scene after the large fire following today's shooting was extinguished, a law enforcement source told CNN. Authorities are currently working to determine whether additional victims may be inside after this morning's deadly attack. Earlier, Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai said they believe the suspect deliberately set fire to the church. The police chief said investigators are still trying to determine exactly when and where that fire ended up coming from and how it got started. He added that police believe more people were near the fire and they were unable to get out of the church. CNN's Maureen Chowdhury contributed to this post. 5 hours 27 minutes ago. Officers neutralized suspect within 10 minutes of initial shooting call, police chief says. From CNN's Amanda Musa. It took police less than a minute to respond to this morning's shooting at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, according to police. Within 10 minutes, the suspected shooter was dead. He added that police believe more people were near the fire and they were unable to get out of the church.
Why did it stop?
CNN's Maureen Chowdhury contributed
Why
to this
did you
post.
stop, bro?
That call came out at 10:25 a.m. in 32 seconds, Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai said in a news conference. We had officers on scene at 10:25 and 57 seconds. The suspect was neutralized at 10:33 in the church parking lot, Renai added. 5 hours 32 minutes ago. Authorities plan to hold next news conference at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. From CNN staff. Authorities said they will hold their next news conference at 8 p.m. Eastern Time to provide updates on the investigation into the fatal attack at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. 2 people were killed and multiple were wounded after 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford opened fire on congregants at the church, Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai confirmed. Authorities believe Sanford intentionally started a fire at the church as well, he said. 5 hours 34 minutes ago. 1 victim is in critical condition and 7 are stable, police say.
Yeah, we're going to see if there's any updates and then we're going to do the news like regular. But this is the thing that was like trending the most today, so, you know.
2 people were killed and multiple were wounded after 40-year-old Thomas Jacob Sanford opened fire on congregants at the church. Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai confirmed. Authorities believe Sanford intentionally started a fire at the church as well, he said.
Oh yeah, we
5
are
hours
up to
34
date
minutes
on
ago.
everything.
1 victim is in critical condition and 7 are stable, police say.
It's crazy, man. It's crazy. But we'll keep that live feed open. As you know, we do whatever's going on whitehouse.gov. We got 2 days to catch up on. It's the weekend. I hope Trump didn't tweet too much this weekend. So we're going to check Trump's Twitter feed, a.k.a. the whitehouse.gov. Hey, he put his wife right there on the front page. Bro, what the fuck your wife got to do about everything? Like, but she on the front page. She ain't never ran for politics. I don't think she want to be. Okay. So today is the 28th. We only got the stuff he put yesterday and a little bit today. He ain't even say nothing about what's going on with the church. We'll check his Twitter. Bro, what the fuck your wife got to do about it? Yeah, we did a lot of this. So we're going to see what he's talking about with the ICE raids. She ain't never ran for politics. You want to run this shit down.
Democrats' unhinged crusade against ICE fuels bloodshed. The White House.
Yeah, AI can't say ICE. They say ICE. So I'm kind of thinking like the people that went at Ice Cube was kind of like AI or like lesser than.
House. September 26, 2025. The carnage in Dallas, Texas, where a maniac with anti-ICE ammo gunned down an ICE field office in an attack clearly targeted at ICE personnel, lays bare the deadly consequences of Democrats' unhinged crusade against our border enforcement. Democrats have spent years vilifying ICE as fascists, the Gestapo, and slave patrols, inciting a 1,000% surge in assaults on agents and a wave of radical left terror. Their words aren't just reckless, they're a battle cry for violence. Governor Tim Walz smeared ICE as the modern-day Gestapo. Governor Gavin Newsom likened ICE to secret police, calling them authoritarian and proclaiming a right to push back. Governor J.B. Pritzker claimed the country is becoming not...
See, Trump don't do Twitter no more because Trump has WhiteHouse.gov and he don't have a character limit. And Trump's cheap. You gotta remember, Trump's cheap. That's the way you get a lot of money like that. So because Trump is cheap, he was able to... not spend the money on the check mark or whatever. I wonder if he gets them a free check mark. Does Trump got a check mark on Twitter? Let's find out.
Governor J.B. Pritzker claimed the country is becoming Nazi Germany because ICE is grabbing people off the street and disappearing them. Representative Robin Kelly smeared ICE as the Gestapo and a betrayal. Representative Jasmine Crockett compared ICE to slave patrols. Representative Sylvia Garcia referred to ICE agents as thugs. Representative Delia Ramirez attacked ICE as a terror force. Representative Pramila Jayapal called ICE agents deranged, accused them of kidnapping, and said resistance to ICE is inspiring. Representative Rashida Tlaib said ICE is terrorizing our communities and turning our country into a fascist police state, and called her rogue agency. Representative Ayanna Pressley said ICE is terrorizing our communities. Representative Max Frost compared ICE operations to some of the worst horrors and crimes against humanity in history. Representative John Larson said ICE is the SS and the Gestapo. Representative LaMonica McIver incited people to shut down the city because we are at war. Representative Stephen Lynch smeared ICE agents as the Gestapo.
So Trump said, this is from the White House, but he ain't putting nothing on his .gov. This is like a cross post from his, whatever the fuck that joint is. So Trump has said about the shooting that we were just talking about, I have been briefed on a horrendous shooting that took place at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan. Is that Grand Blanc? The FBI was immediately on the scene and will be leading this investigation. Okay. And other than that, he's just been worried about golf. Golfing all week. So Trump has said about the
Gestapo and nondescript thugs. Representative Dan Goldman compared federal agents to secret police who must be unmasked. Representative Becca Balint called ICE agents vigilantes who can't be trusted. Representative Ilhan Omar said ICE agents are vile and beyond cruel, and that the agency should be abolished. Representative Nikki Budzinski called ICE agents dangerous and reckless. Senator Bernie Sanders asked people to figure out a way to stop ICE from what they are doing as soon as possible. Senator Elizabeth Warren claimed ICE is intentionally stalk, ing, fear and tear, ing, communities apart. Representative Hakeem Jeffries implored people to fight the Trump administration in the streets and declared ICE agents will be unsuccessful in protecting their identities no matter what it takes. Boston Mayor Michelle Wu compared ICE agents to the neo-Nazi group NSC 131. Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson accused ICE of being secret police who are terrorizing our communities. Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass spread a disgusting, fabricated hoax that ICE kidnapped a woman on her way to work. Representative Gil Cisneros claimed ICE has terrorized people through racial profiling. Representative Eric Swalwell said it was his priority to ensure ICE agents are...
Trump is just naming off a list of people he don't like. The federal something. We about to let the AI read it to us.
The Office of Federal Procurement Policy and the Small Business Administration reinforce small business participation in federal contracting. The White House. September 26, 2025. Washington, D.C. Today, the Office of Management and Budget's Office of Federal Procurement Policy and other members of the FAR Council, in close consultation with the Small Business Administration, SBA, released streamlined regulatory coverage on small business contracting. Small businesses are the cornerstone of the U.S. economy. The nation's 34 million small businesses now account for well over 40% of U.S. economic activity and are creating 2 out of every 3 net new private sector jobs. Promoting strong small business participation in the federal market is a core objective of the Revolutionary Federal Act.
Okay, so now they talking about what they going to be doing to businesses. You can read up on that if that's relevant to you.
ONDCP to recompete drug-free communities, DFC, grants to ensure compliance with President Trump's executive orders. The White House, September 26, 2025.
What the fuck?
The White House Office of National...
Hold on. Did Trump just declare war on drugs Friday, and we're just finding out right now? And then they brought all the military people back in. This is one of the last things they posted before they brought all the military people back in. They doing a war on drugs again? The fuck?
National Drug Control Policy has decided to recompete the awards for the 2025 DFC support program to ensure that applicants are in compliance with the President's executive orders. DFC awards are granted every year to drug-free youth coalition organizations across the nation that have applied for federal funding through ONDCP's DFC support program. It is imperative that ONDCP protects American taxpayer dollars. Our team is working aggressively to put safeguards in place towards advancing President Trump's America First policy agenda and mission.
So basically, he coming as drug dealers. It's another fucking war on drugs. What's this, the housing, HSA?
Expansion of HSA eligibility under OBBB Act to improve marketplace coverage, affordability, and access. The White House, September 26, 2025. Expansion of HSA eligibility under OBBA download. Executive summary. Prior to the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, OBBB, only some high-deductible health plans, HDHPs, were considered health savings account, HSA, eligible. Catastrophic health plans were not defined as HDHPs and were therefore not HSA eligible. In 2025, only 2% of healthcare.gov marketplace enrollees selected HSA eligible plans, a sharp decline from 7% in 2020. Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services 2025A. Effective January 1st, 2026, the OBBB reclassifies bronze and catastrophic ACA marketplace.
Okay, this one just crashed. It just crashed. It said that's too much for me. Like, leave me alone. Now Trump's saying national. What every day?
Every day, our nation's hunters and fishers embody the timeless American values of freedom, self-reliance, and stewardship. From the plains of Texas and the mountains of Montana to the wilderness of Alaska and the majestic peaks of the Rocky Mountains, for nearly 250 years, our hunters and fishers have traversed our treasured lands and carried...
Okay, this one just crashed. It just crashed. It said that's too much for me. Leave me alone. Now Trump's saying national... Did he really just say some shit that fucking dumb?
Every day, our nation's hunters and fishers embody the timeless American values.
Around 250 years ago, people learned how to hunt.
And the mountains of Montana to the wilderness of Alaska and the majestic peaks of the Rocky Mountains. For nearly 250 years, our hunters and fishers have traversed our treasured lands.
You realize 250 years ago, people didn't eat meat because they didn't know how to go hunting yet? What the fuck did he just... Hold on. The fuck did his goofy ass just say?
For nearly 250 years, our hunters and fishers have traversed our treasured lands and carried forth a storied legacy of recreation, conservation, and competition. This National Hunting and Fishing Day, we celebrate generations of American hunters, anglers, and sportsmen who have kept these incredible traditions alive. As president, I remain committed to protecting our nation's natural treasures.
This dumb motherfucker thinks people only been hunting for 250 years. What did his goofy ass just say?
For nearly 250 years, our hunters and fishers have traversed our treasured lands and carried forth a storied legacy of recreation, conservation, and competition. This National Hunting and Fishing Day, we celebrate
Did you know
American hunters, anglers,
Donald Trump said hunting started 250 years ago?
I remain committed to
250 years ago. This dumb motherfucker thinks 250 years ago, hunting was fucking invented.
For nearly 250 years, our hunters and fishers have traversed our treasured lands and carried forth a storied...
What the fuck was people eating before 250 years ago? That's just what I want to know. And he said the fishers. So people started fishing 250 years ago, too. Donald Trump said... Trump's a real Christian, ain't he? Trump's a real Christian. 250 years ago. You know, the real Christian Trump Day, people just started fishing 250 years ago. Hunting was fucking invented.
For nearly 250 years, our hunters and fishers have traversed our treasured lands and carried forth a storied legacy of recreation, conservation, and competition. This National Hunting and Fishing Day, we celebrate generations of American hunters, anglers, and sportsmen who have kept these incredible traditions alive. As president, I remain committed to...
So the Vikings came over in like the 900s.
You know, the real Christians.
Everybody been coming over here.
Years ago.
So,
for nearly 250 years,
the fuck
our
are you
hunters
talking
and fishers have
about,
traversed
bro?
our treasured lands and carried forth a storied legacy
Trump
of
is a
recreation,
real Christian
conservation, and
conservative. He
competition.
didn't know about
This
fishing.
National Hunting and
Fishing
Fishing
didn't
Day,
start until
we celebrate
250
generations of
years ago,
American
Chad.
hunters, anglers,
They
and
started
sportsmen who
fishing
have kept these incredible traditions alive.
250 years ago.
Protecting our nation's natural treasures and expanding access for all Americans. In my first term, I signed the Great American Outdoors Act, the most significant conservation achievement since Theodore Roosevelt's presidency, designated 1.3 million new acres of wilderness, added 1,645 miles of new trails to the National Recreational Trails System, and expanded hunting and fishing opportunities across more than 2.3 million acres of land. Building on these massive successes from my first term, this year, I signed an executive order establishing the Make America Beautiful Again Commission. Through the commission, my administration is prioritizing the expansion of recreational access to public lands and waters, ensuring that all Americans...
Trump says, like, we only been hunting and fishing for 250 years. Not even 250 years yet.
Americans can enjoy the beauty of the outdoors. We are also incentivizing conservation efforts, promoting active forest management, advancing proper stewardship of our country's public lands, and maintaining high standards to ensure that Americans have the cleanest air and...
I feel like Trump wrote this shit. To make sure Americans have the cleanest air. Hold the fuck up. The fuck did his goofy ass just say?
Like, we only been hunting and fishing for 250
Yo.
years. Not even 250 years yet.
This dude should be the president, but he needs to be a fucking comedian again.
Are also incentivizing conservation efforts, promoting active forest management, advancing proper stewardship of our country's public lands, and maintaining high standards to ensure that Americans have the cleanest air and drinking water in the world.
Like Trump wrote
This month, we recognize the outdoorsmen who represent the very best of the American spirit. We pledge to ensure that our great nation's bountiful lands and waters, unrivaled natural beauty, and proud emblems of American history remain magnificent for our children and grandchildren, all while ensuring economic prosperity for our nation and every future. Also incentivizing conservation efforts, promoting active forest management, advancing proper stewardship of our country's public lands, and maintaining high standards to ensure that Americans have the cleanest air and drinking water in the world.
We started hunting
This month,
250
we recognize
years
the
ago.
outdoorsmen who represent the very best of the American spirit. We pledge to ensure that our great nation's
250
bountiful
years
lands
ago,
and waters,
Chad.
unrivaled natural beauty, and proud
Hunting.
emblems of American history remain magnificent
They
for our
weren't
children and
hunting
grandchildren,
until
all while ensuring economic
250
prosperity for our
years
nation
ago.
and every future.
Okay. Yeah.
Trump one of them people that thinks
I'm
the
just
world's like
stuck
5,000
on-
years old. I'm just pretty sure.
We started hunting 200.
Where's who was Green Bay? Russell M. Neil is.
250 years ago. Sam.
Oh, we're gonna go back, right?
Hunting.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
We weren't
6,
hunting.
7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, we're gonna go a few back. We're gonna start right here. I don't know what you saying,
One of
bro.
them people that thinks
I don't know what you saying, bro. I don't know what you saying, bro.
Was Green Bay. Russell and Neil is.
3 injured and
So we'll go back right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
there was another shooting today.
9, 10.
There's another shooting at a bar today. What the fuck is going on
3
here,
people
guys?
have died and several others were injured after a shooter opened fire from a boat at a crowded waterfront bar in Southport, North Carolina, officials say. The attack happened on Saturday evening outside the American Fish Company at the Southport Yacht Basin. City spokesperson Cheyenne Ketchum said a boat
It's crazy, guys. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
pulled up to the dock around 21:30 local time,
There was
1:30
another
Greenwich
shooting
Mean
today?
Time, before the attacker opened fire.
There's another
The
shooting
assailant
at a
then
bar
fled by
today. What
boat
the
towards
fuck
the
is going
intercoastal
on here,
waterway.
bro?
Officials said a suspect matching the description was arrested half an hour later by the U.S. Coast Guard in nearby Oak Island, around 12 miles, 19 kilometers west of the scene. The suspect's identity has not been released by the police. Southport Police Chief Todd Coring described the incident as a very tragic night for the community. The town is home to just under 4,000 people. We're a small community, one of the communities where everybody knows everybody, Chief Coring said. He said that possibly 6 people were injured, who are now being treated in hospital. The deceased have not been identified by the police. The incident prompted officials in Southport to issue a statement urging people to remain in their homes while an active shooter investigation was ongoing. I'm comfortable.
Yeah, all this
Southport
fucking
Police Chief
shooting.
Todd Coring described the incident as a very tragic night for the
This is
community.
crazy.
The town is home to just under 4,000 people. We're a small community, one of the communities
I
where
don't
everybody
know
knows
what's going on with
everybody,
this
Chief
dude.
Coring said. He
And
said
no,
that
we got a
possibly 6 people were
translator
injured,
too,
who are
so
now being treated
sometimes
in
we gotta
hospital.
translate it.
The deceased have not been identified by the police. Russell M. Nelson, oldest ever president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, dies. Church President Russell M. Nelson looks...
Did he pass away in the... What is going on? What is going on, guys?
Looks on during the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints conference on April 6, 2019, in Salt Lake City. AP photo/Rick Bomer, file.
And
Read
we
more.
got a translator too. So
Salt Lake City, AP, Russell M. Nelson, the oldest ever president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, died Saturday night at the age of 101, church officials announced. Nelson died at his home in Salt Lake City.
He was 101 years old. Was he the dude that had the hat or whatever?
City, the church announced. Nelson, a former heart surgeon, spent 4 decades in the highest levels of church leadership after he was selected in 1984 to join a top church governing body called the Quorum of the 12 Apostles. He ascended to the presidency in January 2018 when Thomas S. Monson died, and in 2024 became the first president of the faith to hit the century mark. The next president of the faith, known widely as the Mormon Church, was not immediately named, but is expected to be Dolan H. Oaks, per church protocol. He is the next longest tenured member of the church's governing quorum of the 12 Apostles.
So they already know that.
Apostles. Senator Mike Lee of Utah posted a warm tribute to Nelson on social media shortly after the announcement. For as long as I've known him,
So he passed away before or after what happened?
him, he has exuded, and for me, he's come to personify the kind of faith, humility, and quiet confidence that tends to be the constant companion of a devoted servant and follower of Jesus Christ.
He passed away before
He's
he
the
had
next
to see
longest
that
tenured
shit.
member of the church's governing quorum of
That
the
might
12
get him the
apostles.
fucking heart attack right there.
So they already know.
Like, that's crazy, yo.
Apostles. Senator Mike Lee of Utah posted a warm tribute to Nelson on social media
Was
shortly
that
after
the
the
Neil
announcement.
Edge or was that Russell?
For as long as I've known him,
So he passed away
I
before.
don't know. We already did Neil
or
Edge,
after.
right?
him, he has exuded, and for me, he's come to personify the kind of faith,
Yeah.
humility, and quiet confidence that tends
That was
to be
the
the
man
constant
that did
companion
that
of a
shit.
devoted servant and follower of
Hopefully
Jesus Christ.
SpaceX launched today.
He had to see that.
They're out here
That might
shooting
be
off
a
rockets.
right there.
How do you guys like rockets? Do you guys like rockets? Do you guys do the rocket ships?
Was that the Neil
SpaceX
Edge
launches
one?
Starlink satellites from Vandenberg in California.
I don't know.
News.
We already did Neil
By
Edge.
Robert Z. Perlman, published 39 minutes ago. Liftoff occurred at 10:04 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time on Sunday,
That was the
September
man that
28th.
did that shit.
0.
SpaceX
When you purchase through links on our site, we may earn an affiliate commission. Here's how it works.
Shooting off rockets.
SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket lit up the dusk sky over Southern California on Sunday, September 28th, as it carried a new stack of 28 Starlink satellites into low Earth orbit. The evandenberg launch at 10:04 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, 2:04 GMT on September 29th or 7:04 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time local time, from Vandenberg Space Force Base successfully reached space in just under minutes. The Falcon's upper stage booster was on track to deploy the broadband internet relays, Starlink Group 11 to 20, about an hour after leaving the ground. The first stage of SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket stands on its landing legs and lit in silhouette atop a drone ship on Sunday, September 28th, 2025.
Okay, now it's about
Image credit, SpaceX.
Matter of fact,
Booster
it's
1063 missions.
You guys already see what
Sentinel
they
6
talking
Michael
about.
Freilich. Pacific Daylight Time local time. From Vandenberg Space
All
Force
right,
Base
Commanders
successfully
versus
reached space in
Falcon.
just under minutes.
Matter of fact, can
The
we
Falcon's
skip
upper
most of
stage
the... Is
booster
it
was
all
on track to
football?
deploy the
1,
broadband
2,
internet
3,
relays,
4, 5.
Starlink Group 11 to 20,
Cowboys
about
versus
an
the
hour after leaving
Packers.
the ground.
Cowboys.
The first stage of SpaceX
Giants
Falcon
versus
9
the
rocket stands on
Chargers.
its
Okay.
landing legs
You
and
guys
lit in
like
silhouette
sports.
atop
We
a
gonna
drone
give
ship
you
on
sports.
Sunday,
We
September
gonna give you
28th,
sports. You guys like
2025.
sports. You guys can get some
Image
sports.
credit,
Because it
SpaceX.
just seems like everybody's
Booster
searching for sports right now.
1063 missions.
You guys
So who am I to
Sentinel
judge?
6 Michael Freilich.
Who am I to judge? My team won today.
Commanders versus Falcons.
That's why y'all got the Super Bowl trending right now.
Skip most of the- is it
How to
like
watch the
football?
Indianapolis Colts at Los Angeles Rams on September 28th,
Cowboys
2025.
versus the Packers.
TV broadcast,
Cowboys.
radio, and streaming information for Indianapolis Colts at Los Angeles Rams on Sunday, September 28th at 4:05 p.m. Eastern Time, Week 4. Published September 28th, 2025 at 8 a.m. Updated September 28th, 2025 at 8 a.m. Colts.com. Colts.com writer. Stream live local and primetime games on mobile during the regular season and playoffs with NFL Plus. Plans starting at $6.99 per month. Learn more. Matchup. The Indianapolis Colts will visit the Los Angeles Rams in Week 4. It will mark the team's first ever game at SoFi Stadium. The contest will mark the 47th all-time regular season contest between the teams, with the Colts leading the series 23-21-2. In Week 4 of 2023, Indianapolis hosted the Rams and lost in overtime, 29-23. For all the ways you can watch, listen, and replay Colts games, check out Colts.com/ways to watch. Error code 110. Ad blocker detected. Please turn off your ad blocker and refresh the page to view content. Refresh the page. More details. Watch on TV.
Goofy ass
Kickoff
motherfucker.
4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. TV coverage Fox. Play. Watch on TV. Kickoff 4:05 p.m.
Matter of fact,
For all the ways you
we
can
gonna go
watch,
to the next
listen, and
thing.
replay Colts games, check out
We gonna go to the
Colts.com/ways
next
to watch.
thing. We gonna go to the
Error
next
code
one.
110. Ad blocker detected. Please turn off your ad blocker and refresh the page to view content. Refresh the page. More details. Watch on TV.
Goofy ass
Kickoff
motherfucker.
4:05 p.m. Eastern Time. TV coverage Fox. Play. Josh Allen combines for 3 TDs and Bills improved to 4-0.
But he feels it'll come to him if the game moves
I
on.
know, we ain't doing all that.
It's a quick pass to Shakir, trying to get him out in space. Breaks through.
Orchard Park, New York, with the outcome still in doubt midway through the fourth quarter, and Buffalo facing third down at midfield, Bills defensive tackle Jordan Phillips could sense it was Josh Allen's time. Sure enough, the quarterback delivered. Allen put his head down, broke one tackle, eluded another defender, and had 3 more chasing him before finally being bumped down for a 27-yard gain. On the next play, Allen hit a wide-open Dalton Kincaid for a 28-yard touchdown to secure a more difficult-than-expected 31-19 victory over the winless New Orleans Saints on Sunday. As soon as we get in predicaments like that, I think the defense all goes, "Here comes the MVP moment," said Phillips, who made his season debut in his 4th stint with the Bills. And sure enough, he shows up every time. The Bills put aside some sloppy moments to move to 4-0 and extend their regular season home winning streak to 14, one short of the team record. Buffalo's defense limited the Saints to 19 points despite New Orleans' first 9 drives ending in Bills territory. Allen, the reigning MVP, combined for 3 touchdowns, 2 passing and 1 rushing, and oversaw an offense that had several lulls despite finishing with 356 yards and topping 30 points for a 4th straight game. We weren't doing ourselves many favors. A couple of boneheaded penalties, boneheaded mistakes, said Allen, who went 16 of 22 for 209 yards and threw his first interception of the season. Throwing a pick doesn't help. And yet, with Buffalo clinging to a 21-19 lead, Allen delivered once again. Just decided to tuck it, he said of his rumbling run up the middle. Just trying to do what I can do to help this team win football games, and you get a first down there. James Cook had 117 yards rushing and a touchdown. Khalil Shakir scored by breaking 2 tackles on a 43-yard catch and run on Buffalo's opening drive. The Saints opened a season 0-4 for the 9th time in team history and first since 2012, but showed resolve following a 44-13 drubbing at Seattle. We put ourselves in position. I felt like we were competing. We were playing the right way. We just came up short, rookie coach Kellen Moore said. We didn't make enough plays when it mattered most. Spencer Rattler finished 18 of 27 for 126 yards, including a 3-yard touchdown to Chris Olave. Kendre Miller scored on an 18-yard run and finished with 65 yards rushing. Lack of finish was the difference for the Saints, who entered the game as 16.5-point underdogs. On 4 possessions beginning on Buffalo's side of the midfield, New Orleans came away with 2 field goals. The 2 others ended in a punt and a trick play that went wrong when Olave threw an interception on a pass intended for Rattler. Safety Cole Bishop picked off Olave's lob at the goal line. It's frustrating, because we are in these games, we just got to close them out, said Rattler, who turned 25 on Sunday while falling to 0-10 as an NFL starter. You want a birthday W. You want a W every time. But this is the game we play. The Saints have spent much of the season playing from behind. They've led just once, in the opening minutes of their 20-13 season-opening loss to Arizona. Ever since, New Orleans has not taken a lead over 220 minutes, 5 seconds of play. Buffalo's defense secured the win in the final minutes. Following Kincaid's TD, the Saints turned the ball over on downs at midfield when Alvin Kamara was stopped for a 2-yard gain by Tre'Davious White on 4th and 4 with 5:36 remaining. The Saints' chances of getting the ball back 30 seconds later ended when linebacker Nafi Sewell, a practice squad call-up, was flagged for running into Buffalo punter Cameron Johnston's plant leg at midfield. The Bills got the ball back and Matt Prater hit a 35-yard field goal with 2:09 left. Milestones. Saints DE Cameron Jordan made his 229th career start, breaking the franchise record he shared with Drew Brees. Cook extended his streak of games with a rushing TD to 8, breaking the Bills' record previously held by Cookie Gilchrist, O.J. Simpson, and Rob Riddick. Allen had his 45th outing with TDs passing and rushing, tying Cam Newton for the NFL record. Up next, Saints host the New York Giants next Sunday. Bills face New England in primetime next Sunday to complete a 3-game homestand. AP NFL.
We on to the next one.
Breaking the franchise record he shared with Drew Brees. Cook extended his streak of games with a rushing TD to 8, breaking the Bills' record previously held by Cookie Gilchrist, O.J. Simpson, and Rob Riddick. Allen had his 45th outing with TDs passing and rushing, tying Cam Newton for the NFL record. Up next, Saints host the New York Giants next Sunday. Bills face New England in primetime next Sunday to complete a 3-game homestand. AP NFL.
We on to the next one. Chat. You already know, though. Browns versus the Lions. Go to Yahoo. Yahoo!
Browns commit 3 turnovers as Lions pull away in second half. Story by WHIO staff. Sunday, September 28, 2025, 10:24 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The Cleveland Browns did not overcome several mistakes against the Detroit Lions on Sunday. Download free WHIO TV news app for alerts as news breaks. The Browns committed 3 turnovers as the Lions won, 34-10, at Ford Field in Detroit. Advertisement. Cleveland's defense held Detroit to 277 yards of total offense, but the Browns' offense gained only 249 yards. Joe Flacco threw 2 interceptions. Aiden Hutchinson forced a Flacco fumble, which Detroit recovered. The 3 turnovers led to 17 points for the Lions. The Browns fall to 1-3 overall. Trending stories. Officers, medics respond to reports of person shot in Miami County. Second grader dies after sudden illness in Ohio, school district says. Investigation underway after kayaker finds body in Stillwater River, police say. Cleveland used a 13-play, 88-yard drive in the first quarter to a 7-0 lead on Quinton Judkins' touchdown. Detroit responded with a Jahmyr Gibbs 8-yard touchdown run to tie the game at 7-7. A miscommunication led to Flacco's first interception. A pass intended for Cedric Tillman went sailing through the air to Kirby Joseph. That led to a Jake Bates 48-yard field goal to put Detroit ahead for good, 10-7, after 1 quarter. Advertisement. Flacco's next interception came in the second quarter when DJ Reed picked off a pass after Jerry Jeudy fell to the ground on a pass intended for him. Jared Goff found Amani St. Brown for a touchdown to extend the lead to 17-7. Bates made a 58-yard field goal to put Detroit ahead, 20-7, at halftime. Andre SZMYT's 33-yard field goal got the Browns within 10 points, 20-10, after 3 quarters. The Lions put the game away on a Khalif Raymond 65-yard punt return for a touchdown and St. Brown's 8-yard touchdown catch. Cleveland's next game is Sunday, October 5th, when they play Minnesota in London. Kickoff is at 9:30 a.m. Advertisement. Detroit plays the Bengals at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati at 4:25 p.m. Sign up, WHIO TV Daily Headlines Newsletter. Terms and Privacy Policy. Privacy Dashboard. The Lions put the game away on a Khalif Raymond 65-yard punt return for a touchdown and St. Brown's 8-yard touchdown catch. Cleveland's next game is Sunday, October 5th, when they play Minnesota in London. Kickoff is at 9:30 a.m.
Now we on the Cowboys versus the Packers.
Advertisement. Detroit plays the Bengals at Paycor Stadium in Cincinnati at 4:25 p.m.
What's that, the
Sign
game
up,
for tonight?
WHIO TV Daily Headlines Newsletter. Terms and Privacy Policy. Privacy Dashboard. Packers versus Cowboys live updates. Dallas leads Green Bay 30-27 in fourth quarter. Follow the latest news on Sunday Night Football as Jordan Love and the Green Bay Packers take on Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium in Texas. Green Bay Packers defensive end Micah Parsons rushes as Dallas Cowboys offensive tackle Nate Thomas defends on Sunday. Julio Cortez / the Associated Press. Updated September 28, 2025, 11:11 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time. By NBC News. Cowboys 30, Packers 27 in fourth quarter. The Cowboys, 1-2, host the Packers, 2-1, on Sunday Night Football. Micah Parsons returns to Dallas after being traded to Green Bay right before the season. Watch the game on NBC or stream it on Peacock. Share. A sixth lead change. Andrew Bright. This game has become one of the most entertaining of the month-old season after Dallas takes back the lead on a direct snap with 4:50 to play and returns to Dallas with a 30-27 edge on Green Bay. This hasn't been a good second half for the Cowboys, 1-2, host the Packers, 2-1, on Sunday Night Football. Micah Parsons returns to Dallas after being traded to Green Bay right before the season. Watch the game on NBC or stream it on Peacock. Share. A sixth lead change. Andrew Bright. This game has become one of the most entertaining of the month-old season after Dallas takes back the lead on a direct snap with 4:50 to play in the fourth quarter and hold a 30-27 edge on Green Bay. This hasn't been a good second half for defensive enthusiasts, but as Jordan Love and Dak Prescott duel, it's turned into a matchup where the team with the ball last might just win. Share. Dallas converts key fourth down. Andrew Bright. At midfield, the Cowboys opted not to punt with just under 8 minutes to play in regulation, instead going for the conversion when needing 2 yards. They got 12 when Prescott found George Pickens for a completion. Dallas stays alive. Share. Packers take the lead again. Rohan Nadkarni. Well, maybe Jerry Jones was actually wrong about the run defense. After struggling on the ground for the first 3 quarters, the Packers gashed the Cowboys in the run game to retake the lead in the fourth quarter. Green Bay went 70 yards in only 8 plays to score a touchdown. Jordan Love had a 25-yard scramble on the drive, while Josh Jacobs got in the end zone on an 18-yard run of his own, his second TD of the night. The Packers lead 27-23. Share. End of third, Cowboys 23, Packers 20. Rohan Nadkarni. After Green Bay had a dominant start to the night, this has been a really fun game. The teams traded the lead in the third quarter, and now the Packers are once again driving with a chance to tie or go back in front. We should be in store for an exciting finish. Share. Well, Jerry Jones may have been right about the run defense. Rohan Nadkarni. The Cowboys acquired defensive tackle Kenny Clark from the Packers in the Micah Parsons trade in part to make their run defense sturdier. It's working so far, at least in this game. Through 3 quarters, Green Bay has run the ball 20 times for only 59 yards, averaging just under 3 yards per carry. Share. Dallas takes back the lead. Andrew Bright. Jake Ferguson ran a short in route.
Nah, I see the results of this in a little bit. I feel good. I'm gonna check the score on that joint though. You guys wanna know, I'm gonna tell you. I ain't got nothing going on with the Eagles. All these fucking... You can't do motherfucking at wild times. Trying to get this on the low. Make it a desktop site? Is it around?
Santa Clara.
No, oh, so it was loading up a fucking video.
Santa Clara, California. The simmering tension over 49ers defensive coordinator Robert Saleh's remark earlier in the week about the Jaguars legally stealing signals from opponents spilled onto the field Sunday, as Saleh and Jacksonville coach Liam Cohen had to be separated amid a heated post-game exchange. Saleh and Cohen, 2 of the top candidates for the Jaguars' head coaching job in the offseason, did not initially greet each other at midfield after Jacksonville's 26-21 win. But Cohen circled back toward Saleh as the situation escalated. Saleh, who exchanged words with Jaguars offensive tackle Walker Little, was held back by a Niners staff member, while Jaguars center Robert Hainsey restrained Cohen.
That's going weird. Like, I don't go back and forth. What's going on with the, they said this is active. So it should be over though. That the last update was 3 hours ago.
Micah Parsons will head back to Dallas with the Green Bay Packers for the first time since he was traded from the Cowboys back in August. While Parsons has said that this week is just another game for me, his presence at AT&T Stadium in the wake of his tumultuous departure from the squad will clearly be one of the big stories heading into the game. Green Bay, 2-1, are currently number 1 in the NFC North, while Dallas, 1-2, are number 3 in the NFC East after 3 weeks. The Packers vs. Cowboys Sunday Night Football game will air on NBC and stream on Peacock with an 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff. Here's everything you need to know about where to tune in to the Week 4 game between the NFC rivals. Advertisement. How to watch the Packers vs. Cowboys this Sunday. Stream NFL games on NBC and Peacock exclusive games. Peacock. $10.99 per month at Peacock.
Nobody cares about that, bro.
Best free trial for football. DirecTV choice. Try free at DirecTV.
I don't care about DirecTV. Nobody had DirecTV in like 20 years, bro.
Green Bay Packers vs. Dallas Cowboys game
Who
time.
fuck's putting a satellite
The
on
Packers vs. Cowboys game kicks off at 8:20 p.m. Eastern Time, 5:20 p.m. Pacific Time this Sunday, September 28, 2025. Packers vs. Cowboys game channel. The Week 4 game between the Packers and the Cowboys will air on NBC. How to watch the Packers vs. Cowboys game without cable. You can stream NBC on platforms like DirecTV, Fubo, and YouTube TV. The game will also be streaming on Peacock and on NFL Plus, though with an NFL Plus subscription, you're limited to watching this week's game on mobile devices. Stream the NFL on Peacock. Peacock. For $11 per month, an ad-supported Peacock subscription lets you stream live sports and events airing on NBC, including Sunday Night Football and the rest of the upcoming NFL season on NBC.
Oh, that's
Plus,
cool. That's
you'll get
cool.
access
That's cool.
to
Whatever. I don't care. I say what I want. Alright, so we're going to go to the Bad Bunny. Then we're going to see if there's any updates on the church thing going on. And give you guys a recap. Bad Bunny is the headline of the Super Bowl, so that's why everybody's talking about the Super Bowl. Now, I really don't even know who the fuck Bad Bunny is. Who the fuck is a Bad Bunny? Let me see. Maybe if I go like, oh, can I go like this?
Bad Bunny to headline Super Bowl 60 halftime show. Los
Oh,
Angeles
that's
Bad
awesome.
Bunny will bring his Latin trap and reggaeton swagger to the NFL's biggest stage next year. The Grammy winner will headline the Apple Music Super Bowl halftime show in Northern California. The NFL, Apple Music, and Rock Nation announced Sunday that Bad Bunny will lead the halftime festivities from Levi's Stadium on February 8th in Santa Clara, California. The Puerto Rican superstar's selection comes amid another career-defining run. He's fresh off a historic Puerto Rico residency this month that drew more than 500,000 fans and is leading all nominees at the Latin Grammys in November. He has become one of the world's most streamed artists with albums such as Un Verano Sin Ti, an all-Spanish-language LP. Bad Bunny will host Saturday Night Live on October 4th. What I'm feeling goes beyond myself, Bad Bunny said in a statement. It's for those who came before me and ran countless yards so I could come in and score a touchdown. This is for my people, my culture, and our history. V.E. de la Tu Abuela, que seremos el halftime show del Super Bowl. Rock Nation founder Jay-Z said in a statement that what Bad Bunny has done and continues to do for Puerto Rico is truly inspiring. We are honored to have him on the world's biggest stage.
This is a boy?
The 31-year-old artist born Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio has won 3 Grammys.
I'm sorry, but like, if you're a boy and you let people call you Bad Bunny, look at this dude. Look at him. That's your Bad Bunny right there. That's your Bad Bunny. That's your Bad Bunny.
And 12 Latin Grammys. He has become a global ambassador for Latin music, starred in films such as Bullet Train, Caught Stealing and Happy Gilmore 2, and collaborated with top fashion houses. He'll enter the Latin Grammys as the leading nominee with 12, dethroning producer and songwriter Edgar Barrera. Rock Nation and Emmy-winning producer Jesse Collins will serve as co-executive producers of the halftime show. Hamish Hamilton will serve as director. We know his dynamic performances, creative vision, and deep connection with fans will deliver the kind of unforgettable experience we've come to expect from this iconic cultural moment, said John Barker, SVP of Global Event Production for the NFL. Last year, Kendrick Lamar shined with guest SZA in New Orleans, setting the record for the most-watched Super Bowl halftime show with 133.5 million viewers. His performance surpassed the audience for Michael Jackson's 1993 show. His music has not only broken records but has elevated Latin music to the center of pop culture, and we are thrilled to once again partner with the NFL and Rock Nation to deliver this historic...
Now we got the Michigan thing going on. I don't see anything recent, so we just want to go right back over here, right? We want to make it a readable.
At least 4 dead and 8 others wounded after shooting and fire at Michigan church. What we know. At least 4 people were killed and 8 others were wounded today in a shooting at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, police said. Authorities say a gunman rammed a vehicle through the front of the church during a large service, began shooting and then intentionally set a fire that grew into a large blaze. Police believe they may still find victims in the burned-out building. Officers exchanged fire with the gunman and killed him, according to police. Investigators have identified the man as Thomas Jacob Sanford, a 40-year-old from the nearby city of Burton. Grand Blanc is a suburb of Flint, Michigan, and is about an hour's drive north of Detroit. 1 hour 10 minutes ago. Up to 7 people unaccounted for as search concludes for the night, source says. From CNN's Josh Campbell. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation told CNN the search inside the church has concluded for the night with as many as 7 people possibly still unaccounted for. The official cautioned the number could include survivors who have not yet been in touch with their families. Searchers will resume in the morning when they are once again able to see through the rubble. During a Sunday evening news conference, Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai told reporters, "We do know that there are some unaccounted for." Link copied. 1 hour 4 minutes ago. In pictures, community reels after Michigan church attack. From CNN's photo desk. Joanne Green, 75, top right, and McKenna Harrington, 25, second from right, Comfort Caitlin Cruz, 26, center, after Cruz was present at the scene of a shooting and fire at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Michigan today. Katie Kildee/AP. Emergency crews respond to a shooting and fire at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan today. David Gurlnick/AP. A Michigan state trooper stands with a robot along East Atherton Road near the home of a suspect allegedly involved in today's shooting. Jose Juarez/AP. People attend a prayer vigil led by Pastor Father George Bizzogo outside Holy Redeemer Church in Burton, Michigan. Jeff Kowalski/AFP, Getty Images. Emergency services are seen near the intersection of Holly Road and McCandlish Road near the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints today. Finn Gomez/Emain Images. Link copied. 1 hour 4 minutes ago. What we know about today's deadly shooting at an LDS church in Michigan. From CNN staff. At least 4 people were killed, and several others were wounded after authorities say a 40-year-old man rammed his car into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, this morning before opening fire on worshippers and intentionally setting the building ablaze. The gunman is dead and the motive remains unknown as federal officials investigate the incident as targeted violence. Here's what else we know so far about the shooting and fire. The victims, at least 4 people, are confirmed dead, with at least 2 of those deaths being from gunshot wounds, according to police. Officials say 8 others were injured, including children, a source familiar with the incident told CNN. Authorities said they believe they will find more victims after they secure the chapel, which is now a total loss. The gunman, a 40-year-old man from Burton, Michigan, was identified as the shooter, according to Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai. The man used an assault rifle during the attack and was ultimately shot and killed by police, Renai added. Officials believe there is only one person involved. "We believe we have the guy who did this," he said. The investigation. The FBI is now leading the case and is investigating the incident as an act of targeted violence, according to Reuben Coleman, the acting special agent in charge of FBI Detroit Field Office, which covers the entire state of Michigan. The FBI's assumption of leadership in the case is notable, as it signals authorities have potentially uncovered violations of federal law. The fire, authorities believe the suspect deliberately set fire to the church using an accelerant. Some suspected explosive devices linked to the incident were also found, according to James Dare, special agent in charge of the ATF Detroit Field Division. It's unclear if any explosives were also used to start the fire, Dare added. The search continues. A physical search of the perpetrator's residence is underway and authorities are working to obtain search warrants for digital media that may help shed light on a motive, a law enforcement source told CNN.
What was happening to this song? It just crashed out on us. Nah, cause this song was going on forever. We're gonna get another update. Live Michigan church shooting. Yeah, this don't talk forever.
What we know. At least 4 people were killed and 8 others were wounded today in a shooting at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, police said. Authorities say a gunman rammed a vehicle through the front of the church during a large service, began shooting and then intentionally set a fire that grew into a large blaze. Police believe they may still find victims in the burned-out building. Officers exchanged fire with the gunman and killed him, according to police. Investigators have identified the man as Thomas Jacob Sanford, a 40-year-old from the nearby city of Burton. All. Catch up. 49 posts. 16 minutes ago. Emergency vehicles still pack the road leading to the church. From CNN's Maria Sol Campanotti and Lee Waldman. A firefighter walks down the street where emergency services are responding to a shooting and fire at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, on Sunday. Emily Elkinen/Getty Images. Hours after Sunday's shooting, the road leading to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, was packed with first responders from various agencies, including police, fire, and emergency medical services. The road was closed to residents, who waited to be taken to their vehicles, which they'd been forced to leave behind. A small vehicle driven by a local police officer was taking families to their cars. A father holding his 2-year-old daughter told CNN he had just returned a month ago to the church he's attended all his life. His daughter, who wore her Sunday best, a bright yellow dress, ate snacks and played with a flashlight, unaware of the heartbreak around her. Just before 10 p.m., nearly 12 hours after the first 911 calls, roughly a dozen Genesee County Sheriff's Office vehicles towing trailers marked search and rescue headed to help clear the chapel, which law enforcement had deemed a total loss. 1 hour 16 minutes ago. Up to 7 people unaccounted for as search concludes for the night, source says. From CNN's Josh Campbell. A law enforcement source familiar with the investigation told CNN the search inside the church has concluded for the night with as many as 7 people possibly still unaccounted for. The official cautioned the number could include survivors who have not yet been in touch with their families. Searchers will resume in the morning when they are once again able to see through the rubble. During a Sunday evening news conference, Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai told reporters, "We do know that there are some unaccounted for." 1 hour 11 minutes ago. In pictures, community reels after Michigan church attack. From CNN's photo desk. Joanne Green, 75, top right, and McKenna Harrington, 25, second from right, comfort Caitlin Cruz, 26, center, after Cruz was present at the scene of a shooting and fire at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Michigan today. Katie Kildee/AP. Emergency crews respond to a shooting and fire at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan today. David Gurlnick/AP. A Michigan state trooper stands with a robot along East Atherton Road near the home of a suspect allegedly involved in today's shooting. Jose Juarez/AP. People attend a prayer vigil led by Pastor Father George Pizzogo outside Holy Redeemer Church in Burton, Michigan. Jeff Kowalski/AFP, Getty Images. Emergency services are seen near the intersection of Holly Road and McCandlish Road near the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints today. Finn Gomez/Emaine Images. 1 hour 12 minutes ago. What we know about today's deadly shooting at an LDS church in Michigan. From CNN staff. At least 4 people were killed, and several others were wounded after authorities say a 40-year-old man rammed his car into the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, this morning before opening fire on worshippers and intentionally setting the building ablaze. The gunman is dead and the motive remains unknown as federal officials investigate the incident as targeted violence. Here's what else we know so far about the shooting and fire. The victims, at least 4 people, are confirmed dead, with at least 2 of those deaths being from gunshot wounds, according to police. Officials say 8 others were injured, including children, a source familiar with the incident told CNN. Authorities said they believe they will find more victims after they secure the chapel, which is now a total loss. The gunman, a 40-year-old man from Burton, Michigan, was identified as the shooter, according to Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai. The man used an assault rifle during the attack and was ultimately shot and killed by police, Renai added. Officials believe there is only one person involved. We believe we have the guy who did this, he said. The FBI is now leading the case and is investigating the incident as an act of targeted violence, according to Reuben Coleman, the acting special agent in charge of FBI Detroit Field Office, which covers the entire state of Michigan. The FBI's assumption of leadership in the case is notable, as it signals authorities have potentially uncovered violations of federal law. The fire, authorities believe the suspect deliberately set fire to the church using an accelerant. Some suspected explosive devices linked to the incident were also found, according to James Dare, special agent in charge of the ATF Detroit Field Division. It's unclear if any explosives were also used to start the fire, Dare added. The search continues. A physical search of the perpetrator's residence is underway and authorities are working to obtain search warrants for digital media that may help shed light on the motive, a law enforcement source told CNN. 2 hours 27 minutes ago. The FBI has taken over the Michigan church shooting investigation. What does that mean? From CNN's Josh Campbell. Michigan State Police patrol the street as the Michigan State Police Bomb Squad work outside a shooting suspect's residence in Burton, Michigan on September 28th. Emily Elkinen/Getty Images. The FBI is now leading the investigation into a deadly shooting and suspected arson at a Michigan church, officials announced at a press conference late this evening. The Bureau is investigating the incident as an act of targeted violence, according to Reuben Coleman, the acting special agent in charge of FBI Detroit Field Office, which covers the entire state of Michigan. While federal investigators routinely offer up investigative and evidence response resources to local officials following mass casualty events, the FBI's assumption of leadership in the case is notable, as it signals authorities have potentially uncovered violations of federal law. Federal authorities can assume jurisdiction in cases of suspected terrorism or hate crimes. A physical search of the suspected shooter's residence is underway and authorities are working to obtain search warrants for digital media that may help shed light on the perpetrator's motive, a law enforcement source told CNN. The exhaustive investigation now involves dozens of law enforcement personnel across the state of Michigan, the source said. 3 hours 17 minutes ago. Shooting suspect used accelerant before lighting church on fire, ATF official says. From CNN's Amanda Musa. The suspect in today's deadly shooting at a Michigan church used gasoline to set the building on fire afterward, according to James Dare, special agent in charge of the ATF Detroit Field Division. Authorities say the gunman rammed a vehicle through the front of the church during a large service, before opening fire on congregants and intentionally setting it on fire. I will confirm that there were some suspected explosive devices that were located, Dare said in a news conference tonight. But as far as using them to initiate the blaze, we can't say that. 3 hours 15 minutes ago. Congregants shielded children during shooting, police chief says. From CNN's Amanda Musa. Churchgoers shielded children who were at the service and moved them to safety, said Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai. I'd also like to acknowledge the heroism of not only the first responders, but the people who were inside that church at the time, he said. They were shielding the children who were also present within the church, moving them to safety. Several children were among hundreds attending Sunday services when a gunman opened fire on the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc Township, Michigan, according to Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai. 3 hours 31 minutes ago. Chapel is a total loss as investigators work to uncover bodies. From CNN's Zoe Sotilli. The chapel of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Grand Blanc, Michigan, is a total loss, Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai said at a Sunday evening news conference. Investigators are still combing through debris and working tirelessly to find additional bodies, he said. The church website says the meeting house is now closed. 3 hours 35 minutes ago. FBI is leading the investigation. From CNN's Zoe Sotilli. The FBI is leading the investigation in Sunday morning's attack, Reuben Coleman, the acting special agent in charge of FBI Detroit Field Office, which covers the entire state of Michigan, said at a Sunday evening news conference. The Bureau is investigating the incident as an act of targeted violence, he said. This act of violence has no place in our state or anywhere else in our country, he said. The FBI is committed to continue finding out the facts, circumstances, and motives behind this tragedy. 3 hours 40 minutes ago. 4 people killed in attack. From CNN's Zoe Sotilli. A total of 4 people have been killed in Sunday's morning attack on a Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints chapel in Michigan, Grand Blanc Township Police Chief William Renai said at a Monday evening news conference. Renai had said earlier 2 people were dead of gunshot wounds. In the evening,
I'm
he
gonna see
said,
if I can get us anything else that's like kind of live breaking right now about this. They said there's about to be a government shutdown, so that's the other live story they want to push in front of you.
Trump administration updates, September 28, 2025. By Maureen Chowdhury and Matt Meyer, CNN. Updated 11:05 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Sunday, September 28, 20. Trump's stance. Sources say the president will meet with top congressional leaders from both parties tomorrow. He canceled an earlier sit-down with Democrats and has called their demands, which center primarily on health care policy, totally unreasonable. Meanwhile, the president says he'll send troops to Portland to guard ICE facilities as he continues his law enforcement and immigration crackdowns. And Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will visit the White House tomorrow as Trump voices optimism on a potential deal to end the war in Gaza. All. Catch up. Shutdown. 18 posts. 44 minutes ago. We've wrapped up our live coverage. Read more about the looming government shutdown here.
That's it? That's all the live coverage? That's all the live coverage. Okay. I really don't believe it, though. I really don't believe it. That's all you guys have for the government shutdown? No, it's not. No, it's not.
The Education Department will furlough most employees if the government shuts down. From CNN's Tammy Luby. Only a few Department of Education employees would continue working if the federal government shuts down on Wednesday, according to the agency's updated contingency plan, released Sunday. Nearly 1,500 of the department's 1,700 workers would be furloughed, along with nearly 650 of its 750 staffers in the Office of Federal Student Aid, according to the plan. The department's figure does not include the student aid staffers. Most of the workers deemed essential would be retained to perform duties implied necessary by law. The agency would continue to dole out Pell Grants and federal student loans and would keep making Title I and IDEA grant funding available. States, schools, and others could still access the billions of dollars in awards the department made over the summer. Also, employees working on activities related to provisions in the Republicans' One Big Beautiful Bill Act would remain on the job. But the agency would stop issuing any new grants, though it doesn't expect that to have much of an impact. The majority of the department's grant programs typically make awards over the summer, and therefore there would be limited impact on the department's grant making, the agency wrote in its plan. Grantees will continue to be able to draw down funds from these awards, and therefore, the impacts on schools and students should be minimal. Also, the agency's Office for Civil Rights would halt reviews of complaints. If the shutdown lasts longer than a week, then the department would adjust the plan. Some employees would be called to work on a partial or rotating basis. The Trump administration has slashed the agency's workforce and vowed to dismantle it completely. 6 hours 50 minutes ago. DoD, DHS outline their shutdown plans. From CNN's Tammy Luby. President Trump announcing his plans for the Golden Dome, a national ballistic and cruise missile defense system in Washington, D.C. on May 25th. Chip Somodevilla/Getty Images North America/Getty Images. The Departments of Defense and Homeland Security are among the first agencies to post updated plans explaining how they'll function if the government shuts down on Wednesday. Department of Defense, nearly 224,000 of the more than 741,000 civilian employees at DoD will be retained to protect life and property, along with nearly 2.1 million military personnel, according to the contingency plan. The department considers its highest priorities to be securing the southern border, Middle East operations, the Golden Dome missile defense system, depot maintenance, shipbuilding, and critical munitions. The plan notes that travel and participation in conferences supporting military operations against al-Qaeda and countering the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria and other terrorist groups can continue. But planned visits by foreign dignitaries should be canceled unless they support essential national security operations or the president's conduct of foreign relations. Department of Homeland Security. Only 14,000 employees out of the nearly 272,000 workers at the agency will be furloughed if funding lapses. Most employees in Customs and Border Patrol will be retained, as well those who work for Immigration and Customs Enforcement, the Transportation Security Administration, the Secret Service, Citizenship and Immigration Services, and the Federal Emergency Management Agency. DHS said it will continue immigration and drug-related enforcement, passenger processing and cargo inspection at ports of entry, the U.S. Secret Service, counterterrorism watches, the Disaster Relief Fund and fee-funded programs. 8 hours 47 minutes ago. Democratic Senator Fetterman breaks with colleagues on shutdown. It's wrong. From CNN's Maria Moctezuma. Senator John Fetterman speaks with members of the media at the U.S. Capitol in March. Nathan Howard/Reuters. Senator John Fetterman is striking a different tone from his Democratic colleagues when it comes to the potential for a government shutdown. I have a hard rule. Don't shut the government down. It's wrong, Fetterman told Fox News on Sunday Morning Futures with Maria Bartiromo. The Pennsylvania senator has consistently argued against shutdowns, which have far-reaching consequences across the federal government. In March, he was one of just 10 in his caucus to pave the way for Republicans to stave off a lapse in funding. It is always, always wrong to shut our government down. That is a core responsibility. I'm always going to vote against those things, Fetterman said. And if it's the Republican side, or now that it's our side, I'm going to condemn it as well too. Although Republicans control Capitol Hill and the White House, they need at least 7 Democrats in the Senate to join them to pass a spending package under the chamber's rules. But Democratic leaders have continued to draw a hard line, saying those votes won't come without a deal to extend the Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies. Fetterman said he disagrees his Democratic colleagues' approach. Especially with the kinds of chaos that we are facing after the assassination of Charlie Kirk, and now there's a Cat 5 storm that might hit our nation too, and you're willing to threaten a shutdown? Fetterman said. 10 hours 27 minutes ago. Senate Majority Whip blames looming shutdown on Schumer, Democrats. From CNN's Batol Tunker. Senator John Barrasso speaks during a press conference in January. John Cherry/Getty Images. Senate Majority Whip John Barrasso criticized Democrats on Sunday, describing their disputes over a government spending bill as a ransom. In spite of a meeting coming up at the White House, and in spite of the damage it's going to do to the country, Chuck Schumer is trying to save his own hide. He's given us $1 trillion ransom note, where he wants for the government just to stay open for the next 4 weeks, Barrasso told Fox News. Barrasso said the solution to prevent a government shutdown is for Democrats to help pass a continuing resolution. We need to continue for the next 7 weeks doing the budgets and make sure that we move forward as a country, Barrasso said. It costs a lot of money to shut down the government, and it costs even more money to open the government again, he continued. Barrasso went on to say Senate Minority Leader Schumer is bowing to more left-wing members of his party. And when asked whether Americans might shift blame of potential mass firings and a shutdown on the Republican Party, Barrasso said it's clear this would be a Schumer shutdown. Right now, the Democrats are really in free fall. This is going to hurt them more than Republicans, said Barrasso. The key issue is we need to keep the government open and functioning. It's the right thing to do for our country, and we've done it 13 times when Joe Biden was in the White House. 10 hours 30 minutes ago. Senator Kaine pushes Trump to negotiate health care funding ahead of potential shutdown. From CNN's Batol Tunker. Senator Tim Kaine speaks at a press conference in April. Kevin Deitch/Getty Images. Virginia Democratic Senator Tim Kaine criticized President Donald Trump on Sunday for what he says is a lack of negotiating across the aisle, ahead of a looming government shutdown. The only thing about the president's threat to fire more people is he's already doing it, and instead of threatening he should just be meeting to negotiate, Kaine said on CBS's Face the Nation. We came near shutdown deadlines during the Biden administration, but we never shut government down because the president would sit down with congressional leaders in both parties and would find a path forward, Kaine continued. Trump is set to meet with congressional leaders on Monday, where Kaine hopes the president will listen to concerns brought by Democrats. Like his Democratic colleagues, Kaine is pushing for an agreement on health care funding, including an extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act premium subsidies. We're asking to fix a problem that even Republicans want to fix, Kaine said. I don't think we have to have every detail pinned down with all the I's dotted and T's crossed in order to do a short-term extension, but I do want to see that Republicans are saying, you're right. We can fix this, and here's the path to finding a fix. He added that any deal Congress reaches must be respected by the president and not overruled via executive action. 11 hours 2 minutes ago. Senator Paul decrying both Democratic and GOP approaches to looming government shutdown. From CNN's Dalia Abdelwahab. Senator Rand Paul arrives for a committee hearing on September 17th. Kevin Deitch/Getty Images. Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul expressed a disdain Sunday for both his party's and the Democratic Party's approaches to the looming government shutdown. The Republican proposal adds about $2 trillion in debt over the next year, so it'll be short $2 trillion, so I oppose the Republican plan because it adds debt, Paul said on CBS Face the Nation. The Democrat plan would add $3 trillion in debt. So really, both plans are laden with deficit spending. Paul had introduced the Government Shutdown Prevention Act in January, which would entail a gradual decrease in then-current government funding by the start of the new fiscal year every 90 days until new funding is agreed upon rather than an umbrella shutdown of government agencies and services, although it failed to pass the Senate. The comments come as President Donald Trump is expected to meet top congressional leaders at the White House on Monday with the goal of devising a potential compromise to avert a government shutdown on Wednesday. 12 hours 36 minutes ago. House Speaker won't say whether Trump is willing to negotiate during White House meeting tomorrow. From CNN's Camila DeKellis. House Speaker Mike Johnson speaks to reporters on September 16th in Washington, D.C. Kent Nishimura/Getty Images. We reported earlier that President Donald Trump will meet with top congressional leaders from both parties tomorrow. House Speaker Mike Johnson addressed that sit-down a short time ago on CNN, declining to say whether he and Trump will negotiate terms with Democratic leadership. I'm not going to get in front of the president and tell you what he will do, but I talked with him, a couple of times, even yesterday, and I'm telling you where his head is. He wants to bring in the leaders, to come in and act like leaders and do the right thing for the American people, the speaker told CNN's Jake Tapper on State of the Union. Johnson said Trump's priority is preventing disruption to military pay. He accused Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer and other Democrats of leveraging the funding standoff for partisan gain and to show that they are fighting against Trump. He added that debates over Affordable Care Act subsidies, the key Democratic sticking point in negotiations, should wait until year's end when they are set to expire. Some context: the meeting with Johnson, Trump, Schumer, Senate Majority Leader John Thune and House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries comes after Trump canceled a previously scheduled meeting with the Democrats. The president has not publicly expressed interest in working on a compromise, calling Democratic demands unserious and ridiculous. 12 hours 31 minutes ago. House Minority Leader not budging on Democratic demands. From CNN's Aileen Graff. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries meets with reporters at the Capitol in Washington, D.C. on Thursday. J. Scott Applewhite/AP. If you're following our coverage this morning, you may be sensing a common theme. Democrats and Republicans alike are publicly digging in their heels. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries says he is not budging on the demands Democrats are making in exchange for their votes to fund the government. Our position has been very clear. Cancel the cuts, lower the costs, save health care, Jeffries said today on ABC's This Week. Democrats have taken a hard line on demanding an extension of Affordable Care Act subsidies in exchange for the votes to avert a shutdown. Jeffries said today that he hopes to avoid a shutdown, but it would depend on Republicans, given their unified control of Washington. Well, it's my hope that we'll avoid one. At the end of the day, Republicans do control the House, the Senate, and the presidency, he said. Despite that, the GOP still needs at least 7 Democrats in the Senate to join them to pass a spending package under the chamber's rules. Tomorrow's meeting, Jeffries will attend a White House meeting with his fellow congressional leaders from each party on Monday, after Trump canceled an earlier sit-down with top Democrats. Speaker Mike Johnson reached out to me yesterday, indicated that there had been a conversation between Republican leaders and the president, and as a result, the meeting is back on, Jeffries said. The minority leader indicated he's willing to find common ground, but health care will be a major part of any agreement. 12 hours 58 minutes ago. GOP leaders standing firm on passing funding without Democratic demands. From CNN's Aileen Graff. Republican leaders in both chambers are not ceding to Democratic demands to extend Enhanced Affordable Care Act subsidies in order to pass funding for the government, making the threat of a shutdown imminent. The GOP leaders lay the blame for any shutdown on Democrats, who are withholding votes in the Senate in an attempt to get Republicans to the negotiating table. Senate Majority Leader John Thune said on NBC's Meet the Press, "It's totally up to the Democrats. The ball is in their court. There's a bill sitting at the desk in the Senate right now. We could pick it up today and pass it." Republicans have dismissed concerns about the enhanced ACA subsidies, saying they do not expire until the end of the year. But Democrats have stressed the need to address the issue before open enrollment starts November 1st. "We can have that conversation, but before we do, release the hostage, set the American people free, keep the government open, and then let's have a conversation about those premium tax credits." "I'm certainly open to that." "I think we all are," Thune said. House Majority Leader Steve Scalise echoed Thune on ABC's This Week. "So right now, it's over in the Senate, and it's on Chuck Schumer and Democrats in the Senate to keep the government from shutting down. And I hope they'll come to their senses and do that early next week." Both Thune and Scalise maintained Congress should pass a clean funding bill and then negotiate health care policy and other issues through the appropriations process. 13 hours 22 minutes ago. Democrats will bear responsibility for shutdown if one happens, Vance says. From CNN's Kit Marr. More from Vice President J.D. Vance, this time on the possibility of a government shutdown beyond September 30th if lawmakers fail to strike a deal. Appearing on today's Fox News Sunday, Vance said Democrats will be to blame for a shutdown if they don't accept a continuing resolution to extend funding through November 21st. "We don't want to shut down the government," Vance said, in a pre-taped appearance. "But if Democrats refuse to just pass this clean continuing resolution, that's exactly what's going to happen, and I think the Democrats going to bear the responsibility for it." Vance added that it's really up to the Democrats under our system. You need 60 Senate Democrats to vote for the clean continued resolution that the President and House Republicans have put forward. For context, although Republicans control Capitol Hill and the White House, they need at least 7 Democrats in the Senate to join them to pass a spending package under the chamber's rules. The vice president also equated Democrats' push for enhanced Obamacare subsidies with advocating for health care coverage for undocumented immigrants. What Democrats are saying: Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer is demanding any funding bill contain an extension of the Enhanced Affordable Care Act premium subsidies, along with several other items, to get his party's support. GOP leaders want an extension of funding for 7 weeks, with additional money for security for the legislative, executive, and judicial branches. 12 hours 45 minutes ago. Vance says he's certain more indictments are coming during Trump's term. From CNN's Kit Marr. Vice President J.D. Vance speaks in Concord, North Carolina on Wednesday. Alex Brandon Poole Getty Images. We're also hearing more from the administration this morning about the indictment of former FBI Director James Comey, a longtime adversary of President Donald Trump, who has been charged with giving false statements and obstruction of a congressional proceeding. Vice President J.D. Vance rejected the idea that Comey was indicted for political reasons and said more indictments are certain to come during Trump's presidency. There's certainly going to be more indictments coming over the next 3.5 years of the Trump administration, Vance told Fox News Sunday in a pre-taped interview that aired today. We're always going to let the law drive this stuff and the facts of the case, and not political motivations, which frankly makes us so much different from the Biden administration. Some background: the indictment marked an extraordinary escalation in Trump's effort to prosecute his political enemies. The charges stem from testimony Comey gave before the Senate about leaks to the press when he was FBI Director of Top Sensitive 2016 investigations. Go deeper. CNN took a closer look at the Trump administration's claims about indictments during the Biden administration. Read that analysis below. Related article: Why the Comey indictment is different from the Biden DOJ's indictment of Trump. 13 hours 29 minutes ago. Maryland Senator confident Democratic leadership will hold the line on health care push. From CNN's Piper Hudspeth Blackburn. As we've been reporting, a federal government shutdown will happen if lawmakers fail to strike a deal on funding the government beyond September 30th. We've been hearing this morning from Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen, who said he opposes a shutdown and that he has confidence in Democratic leadership in Congress to hold the line on their push to extend Obamacare premiums, the beefed-up subsidies enacted during the Biden administration. The extension has become a central factor in the debate over funding the federal government for the coming fiscal year. We presented an alternative that would keep the federal government going. We shouldn't close down the government, he told CNN's Jake Tapper today. I do have confidence that the two leaders on the Democratic side are going to hold the line on these issues as well as not giving the president a blank check, he said. Look, my view is, there are lots of issues Democrats should be focused on, but on this one, we are united. 14 hours 8 minutes ago. Trump and Vance voice optimism on Gaza peace deal. We're at the 1-yard line. From CNN's Kit Marr. Vice President J.D. Vance and President Donald Trump speak in the Oval Office of the White House on August 25th. Al Drago Bloomberg Getty Images. President Donald Trump's effort to end the war in Gaza is a key foreign policy priority we'll be tracking today, particularly in light of Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's White House visit tomorrow. Trump just addressed the issue again on social media, writing this morning that there is a real chance for greatness in the Middle East. The administration is working to close a 21-point Gaza peace plan that would include the release of all hostages held by Hamas. All are on board for something special, first time ever. We will get it done. Trump wrote. Vance weighs in. Vice President J.D. Vance has echoed Trump's optimism, telling Fox News Sunday he is very hopeful. I think the president has gotten us to a point where we're at the 1-yard line, and all of us are very hopeful we can sort of punch through the end zone and accomplish a major thing for peace in the region, Vance said in a pre-taped interview that aired today. The vice president said he feels more optimistic than he has at any point in the last few months, though he cautioned the talks could always be derailed at the last minute. The administration has previously expressed optimism about a peace deal before seeing those hopes dashed amid disagreements with Hamas. 15 hours 11 minutes ago. How Israeli politicians are reacting to Trump's peace plan for Gaza. From CNN's Tal Shalev. Meanwhile, in what appears to be a major foreign policy development, the Trump administration has presented a 21-point plan to end the war in Gaza. President Donald Trump has talked up the prospects of a ceasefire in recent days, as we've reported. The reaction to his plan in Israel has been mixed. Far-right opposition. Israel's far-right Minister of National Security called on Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to reject the plan. Mr. Prime Minister, you do not have a mandate to end the war without a complete defeat of Hamas, Itamar Ben-Gvir wrote on X yesterday. Ben-Gvir and far-right Minister Bezalel Smotrich consistently opposed hostage deals and ceasefire arrangements throughout the Gaza war, pressing instead for continued and intensified military pressure and full occupation of the territory. The two have threatened to topple Netanyahu's government if the war ends. Other lawmakers have expressed openness. Foreign Minister Gideon Saar expressed support for Netanyahu and plans to end the war, saying on X that he trusts Netanyahu to represent Israel's interests. Netanyahu's ultra-Orthodox coalition partners, like chairman of Dejel HaTorah, MK Moshe Gafni, also have come out in support of a hostage deal resulting in a ceasefire. And Israeli opposition leader Yair Lapid, who has repeatedly stated he would grant a security net to Netanyahu in favor of a hostage deal that would prevent the government from collapsing, said to disregard the far-right minister's comments, writing on X, "There is no reason to be alarmed by the empty threats of Ben-Gvir and Smotrich." 14 hours 44 minutes ago. 2 key meetings to watch in Washington as shutdown deadline approaches. From CNN's Manu Raju, Kit Marr, and Annie Grayer. The Capitol building in Washington, D.C., on September 23rd. Anna Moneymaker/Getty Images. The federal government shutdown deadline is rapidly approaching, and we'll be keeping an eye on 2 key meetings during our coverage. First up, Senate Democrats will hold a conference call at 4 p.m. Eastern Time today as the caucus discusses strategy, according to a party source. Tomorrow, the top 4 congressional leaders will meet with President Donald Trump at the White House on Monday, multiple sources told CNN. The 11th hour meeting with House Speaker Mike Johnson, Senate Majority Leader John Thune, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer comes after Trump canceled a meeting earlier this week with the Democrats, Jeffries, and Schumer. Remember, a shutdown will take effect Wednesday if Congress can't strike a deal by the end of Tuesday night. 14 hours 43 minutes ago. Trump says he's sending troops to Portland to protect ICE facilities. From CNN's Kit Marr. ICE agents charged towards protesters outside an ICE detention facility in Portland, Oregon, on September 1st. John Rudolph/Reuters. President Donald Trump said yesterday that he will send troops to Portland, Oregon, to protect immigration and customs enforcement facilities he claimed are under siege. The White House did not provide additional comment when reached by CNN for clarification on which troops would be sent to the city, or on what the president meant when he said on social media that forces would be authorized to use full force. DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin claimed in a statement that the action is being taken after weeks of violent riots at ICE facilities and attacks against law enforcement. Some context, an ICE facility about 2 miles south of downtown Portland has been at the center of almost constant protests throughout the summer. Most of the demonstrations have been peaceful, but some have ended in the deployment of tear gas and resulted in the facility being closed for several days over the summer. State and local leaders have pushed back on Trump's characterization of the situation and said federal intervention is unnecessary. Senator Jeff Merkley of Oregon said the president was trying to induce a reaction at the protests and urged demonstrators not to take the bait. Big picture, this move is the latest example of Trump's willingness to use the military in extraordinary ways as part of a push he claims will reduce crime in American cities. He deployed the National Guard to Los Angeles in June and to Washington, D.C., last month. He has also threatened to send troops to several other Democratic-led cities, such as Baltimore and Chicago. 13 hours 35 minutes ago. Here's what you should know about the possible government shutdown. From CNN's Tammy Luby and Nat Meyer. Landmarks of Washington, D.C. are seen from the air on September 23rd. Alex Brandon/AP. Welcome to our coverage of President Donald Trump's administration and the growing potential for a federal government shutdown, which will happen if lawmakers don't agree on funding the government beyond September 30th. You'll see a lot of shutdown talk in today's coverage, so let's cover some basics. What is it? Congress must provide funding for many federal departments and functions every fiscal year, which begins October 1st. If lawmakers fail to pass a spending package for the full year, or at least extend funding for a shorter period, many agencies and activities must shutter until Congress appropriates more money. Lawmakers have yet to pass through both chambers any of the 12 appropriations bills that make up the federal discretionary spending budget. So the coming shutdown would be considered a full shutdown. When is the deadline? The shutdown will begin when the calendar turns over to October 1st, at midnight Tuesday into Wednesday, if Congress doesn't act before that. What programs and payments will stop? Every government shutdown differs somewhat, but typically functions that are critical to the protection of lives and property are deemed essential and remain open. Agencies file what are known as contingency plans that detail what operations will continue and how many employees will remain on the job. What kind of impacts would we see? Hundreds of thousands of federal workers bear the brunt of shutdowns. Some are furloughed, while others are considered essential and have to continue working, but, in many cases, without pay until the impasse is over. It can also have serious impacts on the economy. A 5-week shutdown in 2018 to 2019 resulted in a $3 billion loss in economic growth that would not be recovered, according to a Congressional Budget Office estimate. You can read more about federal government shutdowns here and also stay with us on this page today for the latest developments. Subscribe. Sign in. Live TV listen watch. U.S. World. Politics. Business. Markets. Health. CNN _ Entertainment. Tech. Style. Travel. Sports. Science. Climate. Weather. Ukraine-Russia war. Israel-Hamas war. Watch. Listen. Games. About CNN. Politics. Follow CNN Politics. Terms of use, privacy policy, manage cookies, add choices, accessibility, and CC about subscribe newsletters, transcripts, help center. Copyright 2025 Cable News Network. A Warner Brothers Discovery Company. All rights reserved. CNN Sans and copyright 2016 Cable News Network.